Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about a thriller series called Metal Hurlant Chronicles from 2012. Enjoy your viewing. Day 1. A girl wakes up to a music player, not realizing where she is. Her neighbor Davis appears in front of her. The man addresses the girl and calls her Jen. He tells her that they are now in his bomb shelter. About 4 hours ago, the radio reported that nuclear missiles were fired in the United States. After hearing this, Davis went to the bunker and suddenly saw his neighbor on the playground and brought her with him to the bunker. Suddenly, Jen remembers that this same neighbor came up to her and hit her on the head. The man tries to calm her down because he did it only to save her. He would not have been able to persuade the girl by talking, and he simply did not have time for that. Hearing this, Jen jumps up from the couch and runs to open the bunker door. The man grabs the girl, trying to stop her, because the radiation from the disaster will kill them both. No one from their family is left in this world. They don't want to believe it, but the fact remains that they are the only two left on the planet. With these words, Davis calms her neighbor down, offering her a drink of water. In this difficult situation, they just need to stay calm and take their time, because the only thing they have left now is time. Day 2. Jen has taken in this information about the destruction of the country and the deaths of everyone she has ever known. She asks if they are safe now. Davis tells her that the bomb shelter is 3 meters underground. Its concrete walls are filled with lead, and the only way out is from the inside. From these words, we understand that as long as the door is closed, radiation cannot enter the shelter. Thus, they are safe for now. The girl then asks him how he realized that the missiles had reached their target. After the man brought his neighbor to the bunker, he immediately turned on the radio to find out what had happened. The broadcasters were reporting the first explosions, but with each passing minute, the radio stations began to disappear one by one until silence fell. Jen asks if he has tried to contact anyone today, and when he says no, she sits down by the radio and asks man to turn on the equipment. While she was trying to find any survivors, her man started to prepare dinner. Having cooked some not very tasty beans in a frying pan, he invites the girl to the kitchen. When he receives no response, he brings the food to her and then sits down at the table. He takes his wallet out of his pocket and looks at a photo of a woman, quietly saying that he misses her. Day 3. After listening to all available frequencies, the girl gives up trying to contact the outside world. Davis approaches her and tries to bring her to her senses. In the course of the conversation, it turns out that the man had a conflict with her father, as he once stared suspiciously at his wife. Jen thanks her savior, asking him to let her get used to the new reality. The man asks her to stop trying to find other survivors and suggests that she take a shower. While her neighbor sits in an armchair watching an interesting program on TV, she uses the bathroom. Suddenly, she feels someone's presence. She looks out of the shower stall, but no one is there. Day 5. At breakfast, Jen gathers up her courage and asks her neighbor why he built this bomb shelter. Davis admits that he built it for his wife. Despite her extraordinary beauty and sharp mind, the woman suffered from anxiety. She was afraid of literally everything. To somehow help his wife calm down, he built this bunker. But unfortunately, the bomb shelter was not enough to overcome his wife's fears. With each new day, she was getting worse and worse. Phobias consumed her completely, and she could not even leave the house. They visited many doctors, but it did not help her in any way. One day, she took a lot of pills on purpose to get rid of her fears, but as a result, she lost her life. After the loss of his beloved wife, Davis noticed how his close friends first felt sorry for him and then gradually disappeared from his life. Over time, he stopped contacting people and withdrew into himself. At the same time, he had a conflict with his neighbor's father. Hearing this tragic story, Jen began to encourage the man, saying that he was a good and kind man who saved her from death. She wants to get water, but accidentally drops a plate of food on herself. For obvious reasons, she doesn't have any spare clothes with her. But the fact is that Davis's late wife's belongings are in the bomb shelter. The man takes out a box of clothes, offering the girl to choose her own outfit. He goes to the kitchen so as not to embarrass his neighbor. But after waiting only a couple of minutes, he returns to the room and sees Jen in a very familiar dress. He is speechless at what he sees. But the girl's sudden hysteria brings him to his senses. She still can't believe what has happened, because everything she knew has just disappeared. She will never be able to see her father, who was very important to her, again. Realizing how painful and lonely the girl is, Davis tells us that in his wife's difficult times, he used to turn on music and start dancing to try to calm his wife down. The man goes to the music player, turns on the music, and then asks the girl to dance. Jen doesn't really feel like dancing with him, but she accepts the invitation anyway. Gradually, she overcomes her despair, hugs the man, and thanks him for his help and for saving her. She is glad that he turned out to be her savior. They look at each other, and after a while she kisses him and then invites him to bed. Davis tries to talk her out of it, but she wants to feel other emotions instead of fear and despair. The man has no choice but to accept her offer. Day 6. After all the activities, Jen decides to make herself and her roommate some fresh tea. Since she is going to be staying here for quite a while, she needs to know where things are. The young girl goes into the pantry with supplies, takes out a metal box with tea, and puts it on the kitchen table. But instead of tea, she finds a lot of photographs. Looking at the photos, the girl discovers herself. The photos show that this man has been watching her around the clock. The neighbor realized that something had happened. He got out of bed and ran to the kitchen, but it was too late. Shocked by what she saw, Jen starts screaming and accusing him of kidnapping her. The man tries to explain everything to her, but not wanting to hear anything. She runs to the door again to open the bunker. She promises to call the police. Davis says that it's all true and that he loves her with all his heart. He throws the girl against the table, and grabbing the first thing that comes to hand, Jen hits him in the face with all her might. She sits on top of him, continuing to hit her neighbor, calling him different names. Having painted his face, she ignores his requests and opens the door of the bomb shelter anyway. Walking down a dark corridor, she reaches the next door. A bright light shines through the crack. Jen pushes the door with all her strength to make it open. After another push, she finds herself outside and realizes that the city is destroyed. She regrets what she has done and looks at the ruins of her home. The entire infrastructure is destroyed. Houses and cars are ruined everywhere, and radioactive ash is falling from the sky. Realizing how terribly she has treated her rescuer, the girl sits down on her knees and starts screaming. At the same time, Davis says a word with the last of his strength. "I'm sorry." If you have watched the video so far, you should know that I am happy to have viewers like you. Thank you for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and follow the news. Klonsak Recapped was with you. See you soon.